Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to do a trailer breakdown for the movie Becky. Now, the second trailer for that film just came out. It actually is debuting tomorrow. It's going to Apple TV and Vudu, and I believe also FantangoNow. So that you can watch it on any of those platforms, or you can pirate the living shit out of it if you actually don't feel like paying for it. That's going to come out tomorrow, but the Red Band trailer for it came out today, and it also had a full-length trailer that came out about a month ago. Now, I'm going to go over kind of elements from all the trailers. This isn't going to be necessarily a traditional breakdown. I'm going to break down the Red Band trailer, but I'm just going to kind of give plot points from the first trailer, because it's just going to be kind of reiterating a little bit. Now, I'm going to leave a link to both trailers in the description below, so if you guys want to watch those, you can, but let's get into this. The first trailer, really, the story elements are kind of revealed. The second one really doesn't reveal most of the story elements. It's mostly action-related stuff. But Kevin James stars in this movie as what appears to be an Aryan Brotherhood or a white supremacist guy who needs a key that apparently is somehow in the house of this family, who's played by the father is played by Joel McHale, the daughter is played by Lulu Wilson. And I don't know who exactly plays the mother. I don't know that actress, but basically the Kevin James has this whole crew of white supremacists that go there with him. I guess there's a bunch of convicts that got let out or broke out. They have a little voiceover in that first trailer that explains that. And they need this key to get whatever they need to get, which is probably money or gold or something like that, something that's extremely valuable to them. It's the plot MacGuffin. We don't know what it is. The trailer doesn't give away what it is. But apparently they think that somehow Becky has the key for whatever reason. Now, I don't know what reason that is. Again, that's really not explained in the trailers either. So, I mean, at least they're not giving away all the plot elements, which I kind of like. The cardinal sin of trailers is, the trailer just, basically gives away the entire movie, which this one kind of does, but, as you work your way through that first trailer, then you get to the shots where basically they take the whole family hostage, and Becky's the only one that's kind of outside, and she has to basically do a bunch of, like, Rambo-related booby traps. She makes a punji stick or a knife out of, like, a ruler that's been cut at an angle so she can stab people with it. She's literally turned like her school gear into weapons, which is kind of amusing. The first trailer also seems to establish that, well, it kind of makes sense too, that the father, Joel McHale, Lulu Wilson is his biological daughter, and his wife is either dead or they are divorced. And he's either seeing or he is remarried to another woman who has a young son. So they're all going up to this cabin in the woods, which I assume is the place where Kevin James has hidden whatever treasure he has. And they explain that, like I said, a little bit in that first trailer. And really, that's most of the explanation of it outside of the stuff that happens at the house. Everything else kind of overlaps. So I'm going to dive right in now to the Red Band trailer. And the Red Band trailer is extremely violent, I will say that. The Red Band trailer is ridiculously violent. And I like that a little bit, it's kind of, it reminds me a little bit of The Hunt in a certain way. So going into the trailer, you get reintroduced to Kevin James. They breeze through kind of that early stuff. And they go right into, Lulu Wilson killing all these guys. And, again, I think there's supposed to be 4 convicts, including Kevin James, that are there. Kevin James in the trailer is actually pretty intimidating. One of the opening shots of this trailer is he actually shoots the stepmom in the leg, in like the thigh, when they won't tell him where Becky is. And again, that's where you get the name for the movie. The daughter's name is Becky, so that's the whole thing, is that she's, in addition to the key and whatever they need the key to get, Becky is also the plot MacGuffin. So she's a character, a plot MacGuffin, and I would assume our protagonist. So moving past that, then we get into all these scenes where she's out in the woods, and there's all these, like, tree houses and stuff, I think. It looks like a bunch of stuff, kid stuff that's kind of out in the woods. And she basically just goes into survival mode and starts crafting stuff. There's a scene where she's crafting tripwires. It's very comedic. And that's what kind of leads me to this, because I don't know whether or not this movie is a drama. And I don't think it is. I think it's a very tongue-in-cheek black comedy. Again, a lot like The Hunt, because of some of the camera angles and the way that they frame things, and also the actors that are in it. Again, most of them are comedy. I shouldn't say most of them, but two of the big ones are comedy actors with Kevin James and Joel McHale. So it would make sense if it was kind of a darkly comedic type of thing. But again, the trailers don't really show that side of it unless you look at it from certain angles and you kind of see what's going on. Because again, when they do that scene of her kind of booby trapping the woods, they show like a little snippet where it's kind of three shots in one, where one she has like a garrote wire, one she's like rigging something, and then another one she's doing something else. But it's on the screen at the same time, so it feels kind of like, one of those montages you would see in an action movie, something that kind of looks a bit goofy in a modern film. In the 80s it looked normal because it was the 80s, but today it looks a little weird. So you have that kind of an aspect. So like I said, I think it's going to be a bit more tongue in cheek than what the trailers are leading on about it. I think it's going to be a bit more comedic. Like I said, the violence gets literally comedic by the end of the trailer, where they have Lulu Wilson grinding a guy's head off with a boat motor, and repeatedly stabbing a guy like over and over and over again until she's like just a bloody mess. Um, they keep going on with that violence trend, which again, like I said, reminds me a lot of The Hunt when they had that advertising going on, where a lot of the violence was front and center. Now, the only problem that I kind of have with this Red Band trailer is that they do make use of it. They say fuck once in it. They have all the violence and stuff, which again is really kind of the point of a Red Band trailer. So they don't waste it, but the thing is, I feel like they gave away too much of the action, unless the entire second half of this movie is going to be non-stop action from beginning to end. Because they show kind of what she does to each individual guy, or what she tries to do to them. Like, she stabs one of the guys with the ruler. She's fighting some giant dude who's like chucking her around. They never really show what she does with him, but they show her fighting him. They show her fighting Kevin James at one point, and it looks like she's gonna light him on fire, which I don't know. I don't know how that happens, but it feels like that they're giving away a lot, like more than they should. I don't think you should do that the day before the film is going to come out, because then you're just going to ruin it for people. If you were going to do it, I think you should have probably cut down that action segment of this trailer by probably about half, and put something else in there, maybe some story elements or some expanded stuff, or maybe some other cool visuals or some stuff with Kevin James or something. Now, I can't really judge too much of the acting based off of a trailer, for the entire product. But as the trailer goes, Kevin James is actually pretty believable and pretty intimidating in this. I'm not gonna lie, he actually seems kind of intimidating. It doesn't seem like Kevin James with a fake beard running around waving a gun and a swastika tattooed in the back of his head. It doesn't seem like that. And then you go to Joel McHale. He has a couple little lines in there through both of the trailers. Nothing special. He's kind of pedestrian. And Lulu Wilson kind of has most of the character. She seems like she's acting like I can't exactly tell. It's kind of like one of those things where the playful teenager kind of character, but at the same time she dresses up in kind of like, I guess you would call them like kids clothes. So I don't know how old her character is actually supposed to be in this. I would assume she's a teenager, probably 16 or 17, something along those lines. But by the later half of the film, she's running around in like a striped shirt and a beanie hat and murdering people. So it looks extremely goofy. It looks like Kevin McAllister, like 5 or 6 years after Home Alone 2 just went on a killing spree in the woods. That's what the end of this trailer kind of felt like to me. But I feel like giving away stuff like the boat motor and the flamethrower moment and stuff like that would have been great to see on screen, not just, for the novel idea of lighting Kevin James on fire. But I like that kind of aspect of it, where it looks like they were willing to go balls to the wall and just do as many insane, deadly, horrible things to people as possible, because usually that winds up at least being entertaining to some respect for people that enjoy horror, or people that enjoy, splat stick and zombie stuff and shit like that, stuff where a lot of the violence is somewhat used for comedic effect, like slapstick comedy. So, that kind of rounds out the trailer at the very end. The only thing at the end, they have this little, like, it's almost like a teenage movie type of little montage where it's Becky written a bunch of different times in pencil and different fonts and stuff. And again, it feels kind of like, a teen summer movie, which I feel like is what they're trying to do with this. They're trying to mash like a teen summer drama film with a home invasion movie. And I don't know if it'll work, but it looks like it at least might be interesting to watch. And like I said, the novel idea of Kevin James playing a neo-Nazi kind of is just reason enough to at least give it a try. But the violence looks like it goes to just splatstick levels of comedy. So I can only assume that that is meant to be comedic in some way. If it's not, that director is a goofball and has no idea what he's doing. Because that visual just looks so utterly comedic. Although again, that could be misframed by the trailer as well, because that can happen as well. You could turn a horrible scene in a movie into a comedy if you really wanted to play with it in the editing room. So I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility. But like I said, I don't know what to think of this particular movie. I don't know if it's going to do well or not. It's on a limited amount of platforms. I mean, Apple TV is the biggest one. Obviously, Vudu is also very big, but it's nowhere close to the bigger ones like Netflix or Amazon. And then Fandango now. I didn't even know Fandango had a streaming service, but it would be interesting to see how good this does on Apple TV, and whether or not they decide they want to greenlight a sequel or do something else in this vein, or if this is going to open up some interesting career paths for Kevin James now that he's kind of worn out his welcome in the comedy circles. So, as usual, I'm going to put the trailer in the description below, or the link to the trailer. So you guys can watch it, in addition to also the first trailer for the movie as well. That'll be linked down there. But if you watch it, I want to know what you think. Do you think that this could be an interesting concept? Do you like the trailer? Do you agree with me that maybe this is kind of a situation like The Hunt, where this is more of a comedy than it is kind of a traditional home invasion movie and stuff like that, or a thriller or a horror film? Um, or are you just not interested because you don't really like Kevin James or anything that he really does? So again, yeah, put your thoughts in the comments below. I like to read them. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?